We got on the Universe Skype line right now. Joey Max, our up-to-the-minute Halifax Mooseheads correspondent. Welcome to the show, Joey.
Hey, thanks for having me on.
All right, great having you, man. Let's get some hockey-related background on you. What made you become a Mooseheads fan, and how long have you been cheering for them?
Uh, I've been a Mooseheads fan for probably 15 years now, and I just got taken to the game once as a young kid, and I'd look up to a lot of the players. At the time, it was players like Brandon Reed and that, and just the atmosphere, and kind of fostered a love for junior hockey that I've maintained all throughout my life, and it's just been a blast to follow the team and journey through with them, I guess.
Nice, nice. Now, the first time I knew you on Twitter, and we'll get to to you on Twitter and everything that goes on Twitter with you. But first of all, I heard you on Herdcast. You were filling in, and I just want to know how did you get to be on Herdcast?
Um, I know the one of the guys that runs it, John. He's a season ticket holder, and basically I just called into the show every week and said, if you guys want to have me on to co-host, I'm more than willing to do it just to experience it, and they were willing to have me on, and it's been a blast every time that I've taken part in the show.
Yeah, and John, I've been on the show, and John's just an unbelievable host for a podcast, and that's one of those things where when you hear people have good voices for radio, you do, John does. He's got a very good demeanor, and it makes for a good show. By the way, for those that don't know, of course, Mooseheads fans are gonna tweet me and say you don't have to say this, but of course, Herdcast is a podcast based solely, well, mainly on the Halifax Mooseheads team in the QMJHL. Sound like a dictionary, man. All right. Have you ever thought of doing a podcast yourself?
Uh, I've had fleeting thoughts of it. Like I had thought about doing a Mooseheads podcast before the Herdcast came into being, but once they started, I just figured I'd take part take part in helping them out, and it's a lot of work. So I don't mind just sitting back and watching them do it themselves. They're really good at it. Lance and John are. So
Oh, absolutely, man. Absolutely. And I don't blame you there one bit. Now, when I was talking about you on Twitter, you're Joey Max, but you're also known as the fake fan.
yeah.
Can you tell everyone listening right now what's the fake fan and what's it about?
That actually everything ties back to Herdcast. It originated on there. Essentially, at the time, John was looking for me to go through some game reviews with him, and I had missed the three games he had wanted to talk about for varying reasons. I was in school or something like that. And he said, "Oh, well, I guess you're just a fake fan then." And then it just kind of the legend of it just kind of continued. People started calling me, and it just gained ground pretty much solely on Twitter. And I just at first I was kind of like, "Oh, I don't like this," but now I've just kind of embraced it and had fun with it. So
Well, that's it, eh? Like, it's one of those things that I remember when I kept seeing fake fan, and you kept talking about the Islanders. I think you were John with Nolan Reed, and or maybe Jonathan Dunphy. I'm not quite sure.
yeah, Dunphy,
Yeah,
it was.
it was a dump, and I just was like, wow, this is a really different hockey fan. I like it, because I'm just who I am. I like that kind of a different type of fan, and yeah, you fit in very well in the Q universe, buddy. Um, okay, so you've been to the ELC, right?
I
And I'm just curious, how many times
um
Wrestling Center?
just it was actually my first time this playoff run there.
Oh,
When the Moose were playing them.
you mean the Moose were killing us?
Yeah, essentially.
I'm trying to block that out. All right, now I'm just curious. What was your general feel of the building, the fans, and the presentation by the Islanders organization?
I had a blast. I definitely I liked the building. I The fans I had nothing but good things to say about. Never had any issues. They were really welcoming, and despite the fact that the games weren't going quite their way, they were still out supporting them. So
I know. See, that goes a long way because we were getting slaughtered, especially that last game. But
yeah.
but let's get back to the Mooseheads, and I want to know your thoughts on their 2014 playoff run, and why were they unsuccessful to repeat as the Memorial Cup champs?
Um, I think overall I was happy with the playoff run. You know, we ended up losing to the league champions in the end, but I think it was just maybe they had run out of gas. Fucali showed a little bit of signs of fatigue, and we had to lean on our other goalie Darvo a bit, and it just didn't work out. I've done some thinking on it. It was too bad because I think it was our one year if we were gonna repeat. It was the year that we could do it with guys like Drouin still in the lineup, but I guess it's just the way it goes sometimes, and we'll be rebuilding, I think, next year. So
Joey, are you ready for a couple fast questions?
let's do it.
All right, rock and roll. Number 1, favorite current Mooseheads player and why?
I have to go with Nikolai Ehlers because of the speed and the hands and the goal scoring touch. And, you know, I pegged him to have a breakout year in the first, at the start of the season, and he definitely proved it. So
Follow up with Ehlers. At the end of this upcoming season, who's going to have more goals, Ehlers or Daniel Sprung?
Ooh, I want to say I'm leaning towards Sprong, to be honest.
Yeah.
I think he's definitely going to be a force to reckon with this being his draft year.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't blame you one bit, and I don't think Mooseheads fans, well, I don't think Mooseheads fans will come down on you too hard. Some might.
We'll see what happens.
Traitor, fake fan.
Yeah.
All right, number 2, favorite Moosehead player of all time.
I'd have to go to Brandon Reed. Again, he was a smaller guy, but it's the speed and that always means something to me to watch a guy fly up and down the ice. It's just so much fun to watch. And he was the first guy that I really followed on the Mooseheads, so got to give it to him.
Kind of has a special place in your heart, eh?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, there's definitely guys like Nathan McKinnon who I loved when he was here, but as an original, it's got to be Reed, that's for sure.
Okay, last question. If you had a choice of one current Islanders player to be in the Halifax lineup come training camp, who would it be?
Sprong's an easy pick, but I don't want to go with him. Mike DiPaolo, if you guys still have... He's still around, eh?
I believe he still is. I don't know if he's going to make the team because we have a packed training camp this year. I don't think there's ever been a more packed training camp with the players that are there.
Okay.
So if you're going with Mike DiPaolo, what are the reasons?
I'd like to watch his. He's a tough guy in my view, and I like to have guys like that on the team. We seem to be lacking in toughness a bit, so.
Fair enough, man. Fair enough.
Yeah.
And Mike's a nice guy too. He's a good character guy. Like he'd be a good guy to have in your locker room as well. So no, that's a good pick, man. I like that one. Okay, so Joey, where in the Cuniverse can we find you?
Twitter, it would be at JoeyMax11. So if anybody wants to follow the fake fan, that's how they can do it. And Instagram as well, JoeyMax11. Basically, it's JoeyMax11 across the board.
So man, you need to get like a T-shirt made or something, you know, the fake fan T-shirt or something like that.
Hashtag fake fan. Yeah.
Exactly, man. Exactly. Do it in the Moose colors and everything. You know, just kind of build that one up. I'd order one for sure. I know that. All right, fake fan Joey Max. That is our Halifax Mooseheads up to the minute correspondent. Take it easy, buddy.
You too, bud.
In order for us to get to where we want to get as a franchise and an organization, there are some stepping stones that we have to take. To say that I'm happy with the season and the wins and loss columns, of course I'm not. I want to win as badly as you guys want to win.
Hard work is non-negotiable, and that's a key to success in anything that you do. So my goal as a coach and my mandate is to make sure that everybody's coming back, they're focused, but they're ready to compete.
We think there's 7 really good players in this year's draft, and then we think there's some real good depth between 8 and 20. So what I'm saying to you is we're going to get good players.